White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. The weekend begins with the San Diego Padres in town. It is interleague plays dawning here in 2017. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. And the Sox bullpen this season has been one of the absolute bright spots on this team, Steve.
Last night was no exception. 4 scoreless innings. Everybody did the job, and that's what's been happening all year long. It's second in the major leagues in earned run average, and it was Dan Jennings who started it. Tommy Kahnle came on. He threw brilliant, but what's new? And then David Robertson finished it up, getting an inning of work, and it was a brilliant inning. His curveball has been outstanding all year long. So these guys have gotten the job done. Now we've got to get it from the starting pitching, and hopefully the offense can come along.
San Diego's offense has not been very volatile this year, but when it has been, Will Myers has been the guy.
Will Myers came over to be the star of this team, and he was supposed to be the center fielder, but now he's playing first base, and he's a lot more comfortable. And he's made a habit of hitting away from San Diego. Myers has got some power. He's got a little bit of speed. He's become a pretty decent first baseman, and he can hit it a long way. And this is a guy that's going to make or break this team. You take a look at what he's done on the road at .306. Pretty good at home, although the power numbers are down. Petco's not an easy park to hit for a right-hander, and so when he goes on the road, he's a happy man, and coming to Chicago, he's got to be very happy, but he won't be happy to see Miguel Gonzalez tonight.
He is facing Leury Garcia, the starter for San Diego.
It's a good matchup of 2 veteran right-handers. Chacin came up originally with Colorado, and there you see what's happened. On the road this year, well, Chacin has had some problems. At home, he's been very good. A tale of 2 different halves for Miguel Gonzalez. The first 4 starts, he was brilliant. The last 2, it's been really tough for him, but hopefully he can get his rhythm tonight. And if he can, I think San Diego's in trouble.
It is the 4th series all-time between the Sox and the Padres getting underway in just a little bit. Yolmer Sanchez, a 400 hitter this month. He is in the lineup, and the Sox and the Padres will tip it off very shortly.
Red Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales Event ends May 31st. Hurry in today. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Italian Heritage Night at the ballpark. Little saxophone, doing some crooning outside. Padres and Sox in game number 1 of this series, and the 4th series all time between these two teams. Sox have won 1 series here and lost 1 series, and the only road series the Sox have played in San Diego came during the World Series season in 2005, and that was a 2-1 Sox victory in that series. As Ricky Renteria tries to get his Sox back in the win column after the sweep at the hands of Baltimore and then 2 against Minnesota, although he's happy with the comeback last night. And Andy Green for the Padres, second-year skipper, team that's lost 7 of 8 coming in here.
Well, there's a look at Mark McGwire, who's the bench coach for Andy Green. I talked with Andy before the game, and he had great things to say about Mark McGwire, his dedication, his preparation for each and every game, which is something that he stressed. And Andy very happy with the crew he has as far as coaches are concerned. We'll tell you a little bit later about what he feels is the best thing that happened from the first year to the second year as far as his managerial ability is concerned. Sox playing the right team. San Diego having all kinds of problems on the road. They're 6-14 away from San Diego, 7-9 at home. And this ball club is ahead of only San Francisco in the NL West. So they've got some good young players. They're in the building stages of what for them they believe is the right path with young building blocks, and then you add to that.
Sox are in those stages as well. There are some veteran guys on the team who have been talked about as possible trade pieces, and some veterans who likely will stay as well. But the Sox, who got off to that very nice start at 13-9 and 15-12 before this recent skid. Matt Davidson, one of those young guys. Kevin Smith, the catcher, just up from AAA Charlotte, sharing bats.
It's a good thing, because sometimes the other guy's bat feels a lot better in your hands, and you use that if you're struggling. If you're not, use the same bat you've always used, but guys will change the handle size. They'll change the length of the bat. They will use various different bats depending on where it is in the season as far as the heaviness of the bat. They'll go down a couple of ounces or up a couple of ounces if they happen to be feeling good. Plus, sometimes they change the weight of the bat depending on who they're facing on a given night. Some hitters on the other side of the equation use the same bat, and they will stay with that bat regardless of what happens. It's what feels comfortable in their hands, so it's personal preference.
Difficult to start a game when the starting pitcher has gone back into the clubhouse. So Gonzalez is not in the dugout right now as his cavalry waits to take the field behind him. And the Sox and Padres are a little delayed in getting underway. Sox lost 2 to Minnesota. There is Miguel, back out and ready to go. You starting pitchers are a finicky bunch, aren't you?
It could be pretty much anything. Could be just wearing a different cap. Maybe the other one doesn't feel particularly well, but he went down, whatever, and now they're ready to go. And hopefully Miguel can harken back to the first few starts of the year where he was close to unhittable, as opposed to the last 2 starts where he's had his problems with location.
Starting lineup for San Diego is very young. You talked about the rebuild. The only guy over 30 is Eric Ibar in the 7th spot. Caesar just over in a trade with the Cubs. Will Myers, the All-Star last year. Schimpf is a big home run hitter in the 5 spot. Then Hedges, Ibar, Renfroe, and Alan Cordova, just 21 years old in left field.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind Miguel Gonzalez. Left to right, Melky Cabrera, Willie Garcia, and Abisail Garcia. Then it's Frazier, Garcia, Sanchez, and Abreu in the infield with Omar Narvaez behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Miguel Gonzalez, on for his 7th start. 3-2 this year, the ERA 3.18, despite having some very difficult times the last 2 times out. The umpires for the game tonight. David Rackley has the plate. Larry Vanover, the crew chief, is at first. Alfonso Marquez at second, and Chad Fairchild is at third. Miguel's problems have been the inability to get ahead and the fact that he's not spotting his fastball, which doesn't give him the opportunity to use that wipeout changeup or curve. Hopefully tonight he'll have the pinpoint control that he really needs. And it's a beautiful night for baseball. 59 degrees at game time. It was just a gorgeous day today. It was nice that much of the cold weather and all of the rain has left the area. So they've thrown the ball around the infield. That means we're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to Jason Benetti.
Then why don't you?
Go get him.
Thanks, Steve. Great to have you along. Sox and Padres, game number 1 of 3. 6:10 tomorrow night, 1:10 on Sunday night. Miguel Gonzalez to Matt Caesar, and first pitch swinging. Caesar christens this game with a long home run. It's 1-0 Padres. The Cubs can have him back.
I don't think San Diego's going to give him up anytime soon. He came in hitting .444, and that's his first home run in a Padre uniform. This is only the 3rd game he's played as a Padre. There's our Ford home run replay. It's first ball fastball. It's inner half, and it wasn't a cheapie. Didn't matter which way the wind was blowing. This was a rocket.
So Padres manager Andy Green's middle name is Mulligan. You think we can get a do-over?
I think Miguel would absolutely love one.
Ball's well hit to first, but Abreu's right there and one away. So it seems as though the Padres have a game plan of being rather aggressive tonight.
Well, if you go back to the early days of this season, which I'm sure that they did, they'll realize that Miguel got the ball over the plate early in the count with almost each and every one of his pitches. That's one of the reasons they're going up there and being as aggressive as they are. Especially coming off 2 tough starts, they felt that he would throw a lot of strikes tonight.
1 out, 1 in. Will Myers takes a strike. The All-Star last year, 26-year-old out of Thomasville, North Carolina. Just short of 300 batting average wise, but team leader in doubles with 10. He's also got 8 homers.
When he was in that Tampa Bay lineup, it's almost like looking in a mirror to see how Evan Longoria lines up to accept the pitch and the way Will Myers does it, especially the lower part of their body. Pretty much straight up with a bent back leg and the feet a little open, just a touch open, exactly like Longoria does it. The difference is Evan Longoria wades into the baseball, and Will Myers just plain attacks the baseball. Very aggressive hitter.
Very confident hitter all the way through the minors. A couple of trades as well. He was traded in one deal that involved James Shields. He was in that big deal with Trey Turner and Steven Souza a couple of years ago. That is low, ball 4. So Gonzalez doesn't let Myers hurt him. And Yangervis Solarte comes up. San Diego comes in struggling offensively at .284 on base, second worst in Major League Baseball. 25th in slugging at .372.
Solarte, a switch hitter, hitting .250 left-handed, but all of his power comes from the left side, as do 15 of his 20 runs batted in. And that's the way he'll look out at Miguel Gonzalez.
Did get to see the Padres briefly in spring training for one game, but we were talking about this before. You don't get to see the full complement of players in spring training, so you almost get like half a glimpse.
Yeah, you're getting 4 starters. That's mandatory. 4 starters when you go on the road, and obviously at home you're going to have probably more than 4 starters.
Myers at first. And that is inside. 2-0 from Gonzalez to Solarte.
Well, Todd Frazier has shifted right to the mound as the mobile icon, I guess you would say, follows him wherever he goes.
You know, in basketball, when you run a fast break, the key is spacing. Right? You want somebody to the right of the lane and somebody to the left of the lane and then somebody down the middle. When you shift with two players in the same area like that, it doesn't seem to be the best plan.
Well, they had it pretty much covered up the middle, though, especially if they stayed that way.
Hit it up the origin and double plays coming.
Especially with Leury also up the middle.
Two 2-0 on Solarte. Turns to 3-0. Wonder what that was, and we'll find out after the game what Gonzalez was delayed taking the mound with.
Wasn't delayed all that long, so. But I've always told you, it's a game of adjustment. Perhaps he was adjusting.
Pre-game adjustments. 3-0 is a strike called to Solarte.
Now's a good time to use your best move at first base because Will Myers is one of their base stealers. He's not a great base stealer, but he's pretty good. He's 3 of 5 this year. And usually to stay out of the double play, and he's going to get out probably to the 12-foot mark, maybe a little bit more. He's at 11 and he's staying there.
He was leaning a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to do that. That's just his running style. He's going to lead towards second base.
He had by far his biggest stolen base season of his career last year. He stole 28 of them in 34 tries in 157 games for San Diego. Again, a check to first.
That still wasn't his best move. He's got one better than that. Because although it was a quick lower body, it was a slow upper body. He got the throw off, but he's still got a better one. He's got a chance to pick him off. In fact, he is going. You'd like to see him get off to 12, maybe 13 feet. Then it's a lot easier to pick him off.
There goes Myers, and no throw. It was ball 4. So Miguel Gonzalez, who in 4 straight starts had walked exactly 1 batter, walks 2 in the first inning tonight and gets a visit from Narvaez. This is not the guy you want up, by the way, with a couple runners on. Ryan Schimpf.
No, he's got tremendous power.
9 home runs, the team leaders. 6 of those have come since April 26th. And he is the major league leader in fly ball to ground ball rate. He has the smallest ground ball to fly ball ratio in Major League Baseball at .29.
Uppercut swing. All you have to do is look at that one number and it'll tell you throw the ball waist up.
Like that, a little bit high to Schimpf with 2 on, and there you see it. He and Trevor Story are by far the top 2 in the majors in most fly balls to ground ball.
Story, for the 2nd year in a row, injured, disabled, and Colorado doesn't know exactly when he'll be back.
Fouled away by Schimpf, who really struggled to find his way to the majors. He was at A-ball for 3 years in the Blue Jays organization. Ended up here with San Diego and was a revelation power-wise last year with 20 homers.
20 homers in a relatively short season in a park that's not really friendly to left-hand hitters unless you take it right down the line.
There's a strike, 1 and 2.
Keep it up there and he's not going to hurt you. This year they moved him to his natural position. Solarte, who was the 3rd baseman last year, will play almost every day at second base, although not tonight. That's Corey Spangenberg.
in the air on the infield. Infield fly rule in effect as Abreu makes the catch, and 2 down. So Gonzalez has a chance now. He gets this out to minimize the damage. It would only be the leadoff home run that dinged him.
Hedges got some pretty big power also. This is a guy that the Padres believe is their catcher for many years to come.
Second round pick 6 years ago. He was originally committed to UCLA. Decided to leave Serra High School in California and come to pro ball. He gets a breaking ball first.
One of the things they worked on in spring training was using a lot of pickoff plays to every base on the infield. One of the things I would love to see them break out, which we haven't seen this year, is throwing behind the runner at first base, who is the trailer, because Solarte's getting a very good secondary lead. If Jose were to come behind him, at least you shorten up that secondary lead and keep your force out at second base on a ground ball. They've shown no inclination to do that. Haven't done it this year, but you want to have your advanced scouts put that in the scouting report, which will shorten up the secondary lead.
And you save yourself. You end up either with a force out at second, as you're talking about, and worst case scenario, gap or double, maybe you keep the guy from scoring.
And right now, with a 19-20 feet lead, 20-foot lead, you're not going to get that force out at second.
Myers at second after a walk. Solarte at first after a walk. Nobody held on. The leads grow. Gonzalez to Hedges. On the ground, third base, and Frazier for out number 3. So Gonzalez does minimize the damage. San Diego takes an early lead tonight, and Jhoulys Chacin to the mound after this. With Leury Garcia today, Tim Anderson out of the lineup attending a funeral. Melky Cabrera, Jose Abreu, then Avi Garcia. Matt Davidson with the home run last night, climbing the ladder to hit a very high pitch. Then Sanchez, Narvaez, and the third Garcia, Willie, batting 9th.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they'll line up behind Chacin. Cordova, Caesar, and Renfroe in the outfield. Hunter Renfroe has a gigantic arm in right field. Schimpf, Ibar, Spangenberg, and Solarte in the infield with Austin Hedges behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is Jhoulys Chacin. 3-3 ERA, a touch over 5. He will sink or swim on his slider. That's by far his best pitch, although he's a 4-pitch pitcher. The fastball is not overwhelming. The slider is very good.
Venezuelan right-hander throws in strike one to Garcia, who's in for Tim Anderson, and the Sox will most likely be playing this series with 24 guys because Anderson is not eligible for the bereavement list, which normally is where you go when you have a death associated with your family. But the rules state that unless the death or serious illness is within the family, even though this was a very close friend of Tim Anderson's, Tim's not eligible to go on the list. So the Sox are going to play a man short for the weekend. And Garcia may have what the doctors call a contusion.
We have to hope it didn't get him square on the outside part of the knee, because if it did, it's going to be a bit more than a contusion. Looked like the back. And if it got a little more of the calf than the actual bone that's right there on the outside of the knee, he's going to be okay. It's not great for speed, but it's a lot better than it could be if it was 38 degrees.
That is very true.
Which it's been, seemingly, most every game we played at home.
Herm Schneider ready to be on call. Chacin has hit just his second batter of the year and now 8 starts. And here's Melky Cabrera, who busted out of a little bit of a dry spell in terms of extra base hits last night with a 3-run homer that was a laser. That one gets away, and Garcia is to second base.
Well, his second wild pitch of the year for Chacin. Trevor Cahill has a team lead with 4. This one eats up Hedges. He's got very little chance. So the double play out of the equation, except for the line drive.
Hardy at second base, and Spangenberg spears it. Garcia to third, 1 away. Time for picks to click tonight. You can vote online as always. WhiteSox.com/pick-to-click. We have a tie. The crew has surged back. It's early yet. Narvaez and Garcia for the 2 leaders. I've got other Garcia, and the fans go Todd Frazier.
Meantime, that wild pitch comes in handy because that's a tailor-made 4.63, and it turned out instead with Leury at third base, they're going to concede the run on a ground ball. Ideal place to hit for Jose.
We talked about it yesterday with the way the Twins had played this year. They've been taking advantage of circumstances. And the Padres, who have lost 7 of 8, you almost imagine Padre fans saying, oh, here we go again. We get a leadoff homer, walk a couple, can't put any more runs up, and now suddenly there's a guy at third, and that's foul.
He gets out in front of a slider. This one stayed fair for a bit, but as you can see clearly by that angle, it is foul. It's called by Chad Fairchild.
Ground ball or fly ball likely gets it done, and that pitch is low to Abreu, who's just 1 for his last 11, but just prior to that was hitting the ball very hard. Two 1. Shank foul, 2-2 on Abreu. Javi Garcia on deck.
Threw Jose a good fastball right in on his hands and couldn't do much with it. One of the injuries his team has suffered is to Alex Dickerson, and he was going to be an offensive force for them. In 84 games, he hit 10 home runs, drove in 37 last year, but he got hurt, and they're still waiting for him to come back.
To third, and Schimpf for out number 2.
hits his ball off the end of the bat, and Ryan Schimpf is right there to make the play.
So now the productive out is off the board. Garcia at third, Garcia at the plate. 2 of the 39 Garcias ever to play Major League Baseball are on the field right now. One trying to drive the other in. A hook for a strike.
Runners in scoring position, those are lofty numbers. 344, 19 driven in on those 3 home runs.
Fastball fouled away, and you mentioned the penchant for Chacin getting swing and miss on his slider. You'd imagine he'd throw Avi at least one here.
Unless Hedges wants to go to the face-high fastball, which Avi occasionally will go after. I mean, that would be the other alternative, but I'm not a big fan of the waste pitch. I just assume if you can wipe him out on 3, wipe him out, and so the slider should be forthcoming.
That was a beauty.
Well, he didn't want to throw it there. He got away with it. Anytime you see a slider and it hangs over the inner portion, that's not where a pitcher wants it, because those get hit awfully hard. And this ball came over the plate, knee high. By the time it got to Hedges, it was below the strike zone. Did not get the benefit of the call by David Rackley. And that's a break for Avi.
1-2. Leury Garcia at third, and Avi hits it in the air right field. Renfroe is out, and so are the Sox. Garcia stranded at third, 1-0 after 1. Chicago is presented by State Farm, and we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Greene County Cable in Williamsville, Illinois, Central Illinois. Hello.
Hello.
You speak for Central Illinois
now? That was from Central Illinois. I just got a text.
They have one phone?
That's it.
Here's Eric Ibar, then Renfroe and Cordoba. San Diego leading thanks to the Matt Caesar home run. Ibar with a pop-up foul. 33-year-old Eric Ibar is by far the eldest statesman in this lineup. He is 33. Schimpf and Solarte are 29.
He's been a good player. He can run. If you need a bunt, he can get one of those down. He's been a dependable fielder and had some excellent years with the Angels.
You imagine that he will be paying attention this Sunday when Derek Jeter's number gets retired. He used to wear number 2 because of Jeter. Sticks the bat out, and Sanchez throws him out, 1 down. Here comes the very talented former Mississippi State Bulldog Hunter Renfroe, the right fielder.
That was kind of interesting. I saw a quote from Derek Jeter where he talked about what the fans of the New York Yankees expect of their players, and it pretty much typifies what all fans expect of their players. Show up every day, hustle every chance you get, and you're not going to be bothered by the fans. And he said that's what he tried to do, along with playing winning baseball. That didn't hurt, and being the smartest man on the field on any field he ever played on also didn't hurt. Jeter was magnificent, and I love the fact that his career ended with a game-winning run batted in.
Fitting.
Very typical against the Orioles.
Renfroe rips a breaking ball down the left field line, and this will go for extra bases for Hunter Renfroe as Melky digs it out.
Renfroe did a nice job of staying with that curveball. It wasn't the sharpest breaking pitch that Miguel's ever thrown, but it was in a decent spot. Just kind of rolled up there, stayed in the zone a little longer than Miguel would have liked, and Renfroe stays down on it. Does not open up too quickly, which is the key to keeping the ball fair. And it rattles around, and this is a young man with enormous power. They believe that he is part of their future.
The very young outfielder Alan Cordoba, 21 years old, out of Panama. And he takes a fastball strike. 39 at bats so far this year. He's been a free swinger, 11 strikeouts, 2 walks. San Diego, 1 winning season the last 10 years. Trying to figure out exactly which group of young guys ends up being the core to vault them back up in what's become a very deep division.
It's very difficult to assemble a potentially winning baseball team through the Rule 5 draft. San Diego has 3 of them on their roster. And Cordoba is one of those guys acquired in the Rule 5 draft. Signed with St. Louis Cardinals in 2013. Selected by these Padres in the Rule 5 draft last season. Very young, and the guy's got a chance to be a pretty good manager for these Padres.
He's 39 years old himself, Andy Green. Garcia throws to third, and Frazier has Renfroe caught in a rundown. They get the tag there, and no advancement from Cordoba over at first.
It's a real bad base running play by Renfroe. Any base runner will tell you if the ball is hit in front of you, just stay there. The ball was hit well in front of him. He did not stay there. And then he's out. That's just one of those things where as soon as you see the shortstop in front of the baseball, you go, oops.
Then you very quickly become a rabbit on a highway.
Well, it also shows me that he had no idea where Leury was. If he did, he wouldn't have been running.
Steve, you seem to be saying that a lot the last couple of years about base runners not looking at fielders. Do you think there's a checklist bullet point missing?
I think that's one of the things when you're teaching base running. Base running isn't all speed. Speed helps, don't get me wrong. If you have speed, you can't replace that. But a good base runner will make up for a lack of burning speed. And if you check the outfielders and infielders before every pitch, you're not going to get in too much trouble.
Caesar a bunt, and that is all she wrote for San Diego in the second inning. He homers, he bunts. 1-0.
Presented by Coors Light, where fan sports knowledge is put to the test to take home cash. Check out Beer Money, Sunday night at 7 on CSN.
Does that star the not draft eligible Clemson player?
Yes.
Seth Beer?
Seth Beer, absolutely, and not eligible. But next year,
he's going to get a lot of beer money.
There's no doubt about it, assuming he stays healthy.
Well, we have seen players in drafts, hypothetically the NFL draft, take out that insurance policy. Jake Butt, the tight end at Michigan, had the insurance policy, got injured late in the year, and might get a little bit of a payoff from that.
You can insure anything but a pre-existing condition, I believe, and so they're able to do that. In the case of Jake, it worked out pretty well because he hurt his knee, and it cost him some draft spots.
People are tuning in the second inning, and they're talking about pre-existing conditions. We've already gone political.
No.
9 outs deep.
Not yet, but soon, depending on how many runs are scored.
We'll play Congressional in the ballpark tonight. 2 strikes on Frazier. And Chacin goes up high, 1-2. Sox are going to miss our old friend Clayton Richard. He threw yesterday in the Padres walk-off loss to Texas.
He threw very well yesterday.
Another Michigan man.
Good guy. Very good guy. He's had a nice career.
In his mid-30s now.
Hard to believe.
Just foul of third by Frazier. There's Clayton Richard showing off the Padres winter cap. It was actually a recent move that forced Richard out of this series. Chacin and Richard swapped spots in the rotation, so that left Richard pitching yesterday and Chacin today. Two and two. On the ground, Ibar. Nicely done for out number 1.
If you know where your fielders are, you're not going to reach out and try to potentially deflect a ball that looks like it's going right at a fielder. So watch Chacin. He pulls the glove back because he knows exactly where Ibar is. If he goes out to try to get it, it caroms off the glove. Frazier winds up aboard. Knowing where the middle infielders are, if you're pitching, is going to stop you from doing that.
1 down for Davidson. And people are sitting at home. They're saying, well, it's just instinct, right? How do you fight that instinct?
It's really instinct to go after the ball. That's the greatest instinct you have as a pitcher, whether it's the glove or the throwing hand. Anything comes back up the middle, you're going to get it, except when you know where the guys are playing. In this case, you got Spangenberg playing up the middle, so anything to the glove hand side, he should let go and let Spangenberg catch it. It seems like a rudimentary aspect of baseball, but knowing where each and every guy is on the field, regardless of what position you play, you're never going to get fooled.
Well, you want him to turn around and take stock before every pitch? How do you?
Yeah, pretty much take a look. I mean, look, they're set up now. There's no problem because right now Chacin knows where everybody is on the infield. Sometimes they will shift with the count, and then you do have to take a look if you know the tendencies of your defense.
Breaking ball misses. 3-1 on Davidson. We've seen Chacin twice in his career. He's 0 for 2. That's a called strike at the very edge. 3-2. 29-year-old Chacin. Just missed. Ball 4. Sox have their second base runner. 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, home of low mortgage rates and the world's best digital mortgage. Get started now at rate.com. One on, one out for Yolmer Sanchez, who has hit the ball well recently, and in fact this year has 3 of his 10 career 3-hit games already, just a couple of weeks into May. Chacin is there. He's got the lob. The turn is not in time.
That was the fault of Chacin. If he knew who was covering, he could have turned around and made a good solid throw to second base. But what he did was he turned around not knowing who was covering on a ball hit back to him, had to lollipop it to second to see who would get there, and it cost him the double play. He lobbed one to second. That's not how you get 2. And as good as Ibar is, he's not that good.
And shortstops have had to change the way they cover on those double plays too. You got to hit the bag now. You're not getting the leeway as you did before, where you'd catch be off the bag.
No, but an added advantage for shortstops. They don't have to worry about that guy coming down and cleaning his clock.
Tomorrow is alarm clock night. Not.
And then they'll have to worry about cleaning the clock.
Southpaw for Italian Heritage Night is dressed as Tyler Saladino.
It's a good-looking, seemingly a mustache, I believe. And Southpaw grew it quickly.
Did you expect anything different? I mean, he's a giant furry beast. You think he has trouble growing hair?
Growing dark hair, yes. Growing green hair, no problem.
There's Southpaw, Tyler. Ball to strike on Narvaez. Catching tonight for the Sox. Tell them apart. I can't.
Southpaw's a little taller.
1-1. It's downstairs, 2 balls and a strike. Sox still looking for their first hit. Omar, who's gotten a lot of run recently with Soto on the DL. He was a late addition into the lineup in the first game against Minnesota, then started game 2 yesterday. Solarte leaving the tag on until Sanchez gets up. Two and 1. And that's downstairs. Chacin wants to appeal, but Hedges doesn't believe it's worth the court costs.
Pitchers always want to appeal, and they always believe that a guy swings at everything. That time, Omar did not swing.
Did you ever get an umpire to give you a call without the catcher pointing?
No, because you can't call for an appeal.
Omar in the air. I understand that, but I was wondering if you were that persuasive.
No.
We'll remember that. 1-0 San Diego after 2 tonight. And a White Sox group outing is the perfect way to entertain clients, promote teamwork, or boost morale. Companies, schools, churches, sports teams can all enjoy special group benefits when they reserve 20 or more seats. The larger your group, the larger your discount. To purchase, visit whitesox.com/group. Gonzalez to Corey Spangenberg for strike one, and he was a big loss for San Diego last year. He tore his quad early in the year, and without him, the offense struggled even more than it might have.
He'll put the bat on the ball, and that's one of the reasons why he's hitting at the top of the lineup in front of Myers.
Spangenberg, who was on an 8-game hit streak until going 0 for on Wednesday. Had to swing at that pitch, which was in the zone. Still 0-2.
Well, the Tigers are starting to reassemble. J.D. Martinez is back off the disabled list. That for them is great news. Gives them another very good bat right in the middle of that lineup.
On the ground, and Garcia has no play.
That was a good effort by Leury, because that ball caromed off Frazier's glove, and he came over into the hole, tried to do what he could, but Spangenberg runs pretty well. So Todd well off the line, gets off the glove. Nice readjustment by Leury as he's going to the hole. And no chance.
So Myers has a runner on. A hit in 9 of his last 11 games for Will Myers. And he takes ball one. Now time for AARP's Getting to Know. We take a look at San Diego's Will Myers, who is a couple years short of his card. Minor League Player of the Year in 2012, AL Rookie of the Year in 2013, and a bang-up year last year. He was one of those guys, you go through AAA, and there are certain players in certain cities. You go there, and he is the guy. He is the person they've been marketing all year long. Durham, when he went through AAA Durham, they had a Will Myers fan area. Will Myers was everywhere. It was like he owned the town.
Well, there's no doubt he had star written all over him from the time he came up. And I remember reading about him and watching him in Arizona when he was with the Kansas City organization before going to Tampa Bay in a trade that yielded him James Shields and, just as important, Wade Davis. And Will Myers was the key man in that deal, so they got a haul back for him. That's how highly he was thought of.
And he showed it last year. I mean, you see the speed, you see the power, hits for average.
I think he felt much more comfortable at first base than he did certainly in center field, because he came up as a corner outfielder and was good, and he was okay in center, but much better at first, much more comfortable.
Ball and 2 strikes on Myers from Miguel Gonzalez, who's trying to get through this portion of the order unscathed. You walk Myers and Solarte both back-to-back in the first inning, but didn't give up any further runs after the Caesar leadoff homer.
Myers is grounded into 6 double plays this year. That's tied for second on the ball club.
And another check on Corey Spangenberg.
He's 1 for 1 in stolen bases. This has not been a particularly aggressive San Diego team, but they've been pretty good when they run. 18 out of 28 times they've been successful. Ten-and-a-half-foot lead, not usually of stolen base quality.
Spangenberg holds. Myers pops it up. Abreu at first for out number 1.
They missed an opportunity there because, unfortunately, I mean, Jose's looking at the baseball, but what has to happen is Yolmer has to say, drop it. The reason being, Myers didn't run. He was 3 feet from home plate. Watch Myers. He doesn't run.
Yeah, they've got easy two.
You're 15 feet from the plate. So, you know, you're taking a gamble, yes. Not that bad a gamble. You're going to get one for sure anyway. That ball's not going to spin from there out of the field of play.
So 1 out, 1 on. Solarte, the batter. Yangervis Solarte takes ball number 1. I mean, there's risk involved.
Yes, there is. But getting a double play, especially when the man forgets to run, that's something else. Because the base runner first can't run.
One and 0 on Solarte. Padres right now are 10 games under 500. Coming into today, we're 10 games back of Colorado at the top of the National League West. Sox, on the other hand, 2.5 back of first place Minnesota and Cleveland in a deadlock at the top of the American League Central. Minnesota is at Cleveland tonight, and the Twins are up 1-0 in the 7th.
Irvin Santana going to the mound. He was 5-1 coming in. Tomlin apparently threw a pretty good ball game for the Tribe, at least to this point.
Go figure, Miguel Sano has driven in another run tonight with a home run in the first.
Hardly ever does that.
That is ball 4. Solarte is on. He's seen 9 pitches tonight, and 8 have been balls. He's walked twice.
Had an interesting conversation with Andy Green before the game. One of the things he said, and I asked him, this is your second year of managing. What was the most important thing you took forward from last year going to this year? And he said, the ability to handle my staff. He said, I have 11 people that are part of my staff, and the communication with each and every one of them is something that I'm getting better at. He said it was a little difficult for me last year. This year it's gotten a whole lot easier, and consequently they're starting to gel as a unit because the staff has to be on one page. You can have difference of opinion, but when you present it to your ball club, it has to be as a united front. And Andy says that his group is getting better and better at it.
Well, it certainly doesn't happen immediately. And talking to any manager who's done it twice, the response seems to be, I'm very glad I either had that first season or I had the first job. We were talking to A.J. Hinch about that last year in Houston.
Well, Ricky Renteria is in the same situation because he was over in a rebuilding situation with the Cubs, and he dealt with a lot of young players. They didn't have a whole lot of talent at the time, and Ricky was brought in to try to ease them along.
There's strike 3 off speed from Gonzalez, and Schimpf strikes out.
And to go further about Ricky, he was never allowed to see what that team would become after he was the first guy that worked with the rebuilding process, because not his fault at all, but Joe Madden became available. They made the change. Ricky's in a similar situation with a rebuilding team here. The big difference is that he will be allowed to see this through. And I believe that he's imprinting his signature on the ball club, which, unlike the last time, will pay dividends for him. It's nothing against the Cubs because they had a guy that they thought was better for where the team was at that time, and they chose Joe Maddon.
That's laced fair by Hedges toward the left field corner. And here comes Spangenberg. Here comes Solarte from the plate. He is not in time.
Todd Frazier wants to know if that's a fair ball. He thought it was on the other side of the line, and Ricky is calling a hold for the moment so they can take a look at it. We'll see it again. This is a good angle. It's a fair ball.
Couldn't challenge it anyway because it's in front of the umpire.
Yep.
Can challenge the play at home.
Yep. Could very well be that they might be doing that. It's a good throw from Melky. Look, the hand got in. We'll take another look at it and slow it down for you. No, he's safe.
Good job by this umpiring crew both ways. Hedges with a 2-run double. So a couple of 2-out runs for San Diego in the third.
19 runs driven in for Austin Hedges. Pretty good number at this part of the season for a very young catcher.
For a guy who was 0 for 23 in his first 8 games of the year. So he has really turned it on the last month. Last 3 weeks or so. Ibar takes a ball in the dirt. Called a strike to Ibar, and remember the Sox used 4 guys out of the bullpen last night. Jennings didn't throw very much, but he has been oft used this year. He only threw a third of an inning. Swarzak threw a couple, and Tommy Canely 2/3 of an inning. David Robertson for 1. Ibar yanks it to second, and Sanchez to retire the side, but Hedges comes up with a big hit to left field and gives San Diego a 3-0 lead after 2.5. Will stand up with the Sox comedy event June 8th at Zanies in Old Town. Comedian Pat McGann is back to host the show with all proceeds benefiting White Sox charities. Visit whitesox.com/Sox comedy to get your tickets today. Steve will do his Gallagher impersonation. He's going to bring his sledgehammer and hit fruit into the audience.
I'm just going to continually play the song Sledgehammer. I'm not going to bring one. But that's a nice night. I used to go to Zany's all the time. Very funny people.
I don't know if Sledgehammer on loop is better or worse than Nickelback on loop pregame, which sometimes we are afforded the opportunity of.
Well, I always wanted to be a rock star.
I have to say, somebody just won a pool at home. Something to do with you quoting Nickelback. You can get great odds on that. 2 balls and a strike on Leury Garcia. Sox are down 3-0. Thanks to 2 runs in the top of this inning on an Austin Hedges 2-run double.
A bit like last night when the Sox fell down 6-0 and battled back. They're going to have to do it again, and they're going to do it against a guy that is not overwhelming, but Chacin has a pretty good slider, and that's what he's using quite a bit tonight.
Breaking ball, smoke to left and down in front of Córdoba. First hit tonight for the Sox.
Well, Chacin has gotten away with too many sliders over the inside part of the plate, and this was another one and cost him a base hit. You see where it winds up. Hedges wanted it low and away. Chacin has done that a few times. This turns out to be a nice block by Córdoba, because if this gets by Allen, then it's going to be 3 bases at least. Turns out he's at first base, so if you can't get it, you best knock it down. He was able to do it there.
Here's a guy in Chacin who's one of the top swinging strikes on slider guys in Major League Baseball, and he has missed with a bunch as Garcia stabs a bunt.
Talking with some of the better butters in the last generation, they say the same thing about laying down a bunt, and that is you can't try to bunt while running to first base. You stay around to see the ball down off your bat and then take off. If you pull out, you're going to foul it off almost invariably.
That's a drive deep right field. Garcia plates Garcia. It's 3-2.
Three and 10 on the power numbers for Leury. He got a slider down and in and took it out of the ballpark. So the fact that he couldn't lay the bunt down turned out perfectly as he cuts the lead to 1. It's a slider. It stays on the inside part of the plate. And Leury, it's a good part of the bat on it. Our Ford home run replay. Renfroe just looks up. There's nothing he can do with one over the Kraft cave.
So now Melky, as with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. It's home run number 31 on the year for the Sox. Melky hammers that ball.
Melky's seen it pretty well tonight, because he hit a rocket the first time up, only hit it right at Spangenberg, who made a nice play on the one-hop rocket.
Breaking ball called a strike, 2-2, and you said it, he's missed with some sliders, had one get hit very hard. 25 total swinging strikes, the minimum. That's the percentage of swinging strikes on sliders. He's 4th in baseball. So rare to see him struggle with that pitch.
Well, it depends on how many right-handers he faces, because that slider, which doesn't have a whole lot of depth to it, is much more effective on the right-hand hitters than the left-hand hitters, as Leury showed you.
Inside, 3-2 on Melky. Picture in picture. Chacin has some time and enough for out number 1. DeWalt, the official tools of the Chicago White Sox. DeWalt, guaranteed tough, offering total job site solutions. Tumbleweeds in the bullpen so far tonight.
Hopefully it stays that way. I'd like to send along best wishes to your friend of mine and one of the great fantasy baseball players in the country, Mark Brock. I understand that you have the same type of football fantasy league that they have, where you draft the players and keep them until you do what they do in Major League Baseball. You either trade them, release them, or clear your roster.
It's a keeper league. We've had it for a long time. Thank you for asking. Schimpf, and a tag down by Solarte. Nicely done to slide into position to nab Abreu. 2 out.
For a guy who's been playing second base and third base, nifty play at first by Solarte. He comes up the line, still able to put the tag on, gets him on the knee.
John Hervis Solarte checking for any scrapes.
It's a game of adjustment.
It's new to somebody. Two down for Garcia. Sox have a home run from Leury Garcia in the 3rd to draw back within 1. In the air, left of center, long run, and Caesar can't put it away. Avi's on his way to second. He is there with 2 down.
Good effort by Matt Caesar. He had the ball briefly and then it trickled away, and Avi, who was hustling all the way, beats the play at second base. So a hustle double. He's got it in the glove, but unlike football, the ground can cause a fumble.
They've had long discussions in professional and college football about what constitutes a catch. That doesn't constitute a catch.
It constituted it briefly, then reconstituted.
Strike 1 to Frazier. Football fans don't need any more confusion from you, okay? Nobody knows what a catch is, and you're going to start with them in May. Can't you just let everybody enjoy Mitchell Trubisky for a while?
That's going to be an interesting camp, I believe.
Mike Glennon, Trubisky. Ball and a strike on Frazier. And Schimpf at 3rd is on target this time to retire the side, but the Sox have inched closer because of this man. The leadoff guys have both homered in this game. Leury Garcia makes it 3-2 after 3. shout out, so I'm going to let him do that while I celebrate Italian Heritage Night.
Those fried ravioli look terrific, by the way, and thanks to Ed and Jackie Wirtz for sending along a replacement gnome. Our other gnome was getting a little tired. You know, we are in the second month of the season. This guy has come on. You can't have him, but you can have anything else on the prize shelf, and there it is, including the ravioli if you like, and it's a special type of cheese ravioli.
Caprese ravioli for Italian Heritage. Now I got caught. I was putting it on the shelf and then taking it back, but
see, you're kind of a crafty little fellow, aren't you?
Only sometimes. That ball is clobbered down the left field line, and then it's called a fair ball and a home run. Renfroe shows the power, and it's 4-2.
Well, Ricky certainly wants to take a look at that. And the question will be, as we take a look at it, can you see the baseball in front of the pole? If you can see the baseball the whole way and it's not obscured by the pole, then it's a foul ball. If it disappears around the pole, it's a fair ball. Renfroe crushes it. Take a look. You can see the baseball the whole way. That is a foul ball. Keep your eye on the baseball. If you see it the whole way, and you do, that means it hooked in front of the pole and on the foul side of the line.
And the umpires have gotten together and called it foul before a review can even come about.
So a long, hard hit foul ball for strike one.
Some people have said that instant replay would preclude umpires, or at least minimize umpires talking plays over to get them right in real time, and instead let replay do it. I think a tip of the cap to that crew for doing the discussion before the Sox had to challenge.
Yep. No, nice job by David Rackley, the home plate umpire, Chad Fairchild, Alfonso Marquez, and Larry Vanover.
But the Sox do now have evidence in front of their very eyes, and Gonzalez does certainly, of the clout in the bat of Hunter Renfroe.
He's got big power. That's one of the things they absolutely love about him.
Chops this one to shortstop Garcia for nothing. Abreu couldn't hang on, and there's a runner on.
Goes E6. Renfroe runs hard down the line, and Jose on a ball in the dirt has it trickle away.
With that, one on and nobody out as Cordoba takes ball one. All the hullabaloo about the long fly ball turned foul, and now Renfroe becomes a base runner and gets something of a reprieve. There's a bunt back to the mound, and Gonzalez gets the out.
He looks safe at first to me. Looked like Miguel took a little too much time. I think that Cordoba wants him to take a look at it, and we'll see if they do.
Looked like there was some spin on this ball.
Yeah, but he does take a whole lot of time. He looks safe by plenty, actually. Cordoba did what you're supposed to do at the front part of the bag. That probably gets you another couple of inches on the call.
This is under review, and I'm with you. I think it's a very quick review.
Yeah, I would think so. Johnny Washington, the first base coach, immediately looked to Andy Green and said, take a look at it, and he is indeed safe. So runners at first and second. Right on the front of the bag. goes the base hit. There was not a great sense of urgency for Miguel as he went to first base.
So now Caesar, 2 on, nobody out. Guy who has homered and gone back out to Gonzalez.
Well, he bunted last time, and if he bunts again, he wants to bunt it right at Frazier.
Todd's playing in at third. How about that? He bunts with a runner on and 2 out, but does not show it with 2 on, nobody out after a homer in his first at bat. And there's the bunt. Frazier gets the out.
That was a perfect bunt because he forced Todd Frazier to field it. Only one play, and he went to first base, moving up both runners. So, well executed sacrifice by Matt Caesar, who's done a whole lot right. Just his 3rd game as a Padre.
Well, Ricky Renteria had Caesar on the other side of town here in Chicago, and he said he's one of the favorite players that he was able to manage over there. And I asked for why, and he said because that guy thought he could do everything. Even if he couldn't, he would go out there and try to do anything and everything we asked of him.
It's a great attribute in anyone, but especially a young ball player. Infield in at all 4 positions.
You might be enticed in another situation to pitch around Spangenberg or not let him beat you, but the guy that's next, Will Myers, is the alpha dog in this lineup.
You're going to have to go at Spangenberg, try to get him out, and then if you want, walk Myers.
Called a strike.
This one drifts a little off the plate. Miguel will certainly take it. That was a long way to go to buy a strike.
You'd do anything to get a strike as a pitcher.
Yeah, you got to have that call. You don't get it too much.
Fouled away by Spangenberg, 1-2. Renfroe at third, Cordoba at second, and Spangenberg takes a close pitch that was inside. 2-2. Where now to the left-handed batting second baseman.
Well, he thought that outside breaking ball was good enough the last time he threw it. Might be good enough to try it again. Try a backdoor curveball, shave off the outside corner, especially if he's going to give you an inch outside. Went to a changeup, tried to keep it low and away, but that went out of the zone, blocked nicely by Omar.
So now 3-2 for Spangenberg. Myers next, Solarte to follow. Gonzalez has it fouled away. So he's gone both in and out so far against Spangenberg. Gonzalez has.
Well, you try to come down with the idea that you've gotten an inch outside and he hasn't called the one inside, so it's probably best to stay away. Fouled
Off. That was down in the zone.
Good changeup. And and Spangenberg fouled it off. Good changeup, good location, and a nice piece of staying alive.
Pitch number 8 coming. Gonzalez to Spangenberg. Renfroe at third. Cordoba at second. And another foul from Corey Spangenberg.
That time he did go throw it in on his hands, but Spangenberg, who's battling, fouled that one off.
Pretty soon he's going to have as many pitches as his last name has. Pitch number 9 on the way, 11 in his name, and a meeting of the infield as Cooper and Renteria put their heads together. Spangenberg is not likely to beat you with power. He's only got a grand total of 8 career home runs. In the air left field and playable for Melky. Renfroe will not tag, and 2 down.
I think the last throw Melky made from left field convinced Glenn Hoffman, the third base coach, that you don't want to take any liberties because Melky has a very strong and very accurate arm. He sets up nicely, and the token break by Renfroe. So now Don Cooper comes to the mound. Good time to tell you about the home plate umpire David Rackley. 4 years of service time in the major leagues, and you know, everybody looks at umpires or players, they're in the major leagues. They don't realize how difficult it is really to get here. Take the path of David Rackley. Arizona League, Florida Extended Spring Training, Northwest League, Florida Instructional League, South Atlanta League, Carolina League, Arizona Instructional League, Texas League, Dominican Winter League, Venezuelan Winter League, and the International League. So he was an overnight success, but it took him a long time, and that's the plight of umpires. It takes them a long time to get here. They have a wonderful job when they do, but it's a tough job, and these guys are afforded a lot of respect most of the time.
A literal overnight success in that sometimes umpires in these leagues, Carolina League, Texas League, they drive themselves to games after the game, just like the players, but they don't have a bus where they can relax.
And I believe they, like all people who are performing, and bear in mind, umpires do perform in front of big crowds every night. They're trying to do the best job they can. Some nights it's better than others.
Even book their own travel, hotels. In the dirt, and you wouldn't imagine that Will Myers is going to get a cookie here.
Not with first base open. You give him one, the one-run game is expanded.
Steve's new book, If You Give a Myers a Cookie.
Ooh, don't want to do that. Too good a hitter.
Remember, with the automatic intentional walk, the Sox could just say, get out of here.
Well, if he gets to 3-0, you should say, get out of here.
There's a strike, 2-1.
A labor-intensive outing for Miguel Gonzalez. The third time he's been at 20 pitches.
It's inside, 3-1. The only danger, other than Solarte beating you with a hit, he's on deck. He's walked twice. Gonzalez has thrown him 9 pitches, and 8 have been balls. Three and one on Myers. That ball is cracked to left field. Melky lumbering in for out number 3. Deep breath for Gonzalez and the Sox. Myers doesn't do the trick. 3-2 your score. on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize, and the prize shelf tries to beat the Sox guy. Number of home runs for the Sox last night, multiplied by the number of Major League teams other than the Sox and Padres Joey Cora played for. Add the number of NL West teams John Garland played for. Subtract the number of games in this series. There you go. Hashtag SoxMath on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize from the old prize shelf. Sox guy won himself a winter hat last night. And you, too, can do that. So here's Matt Davidson, who has grown a beard over the course of this season and is starting very much to look like Breaking Bad's Jesse Pinkman.
I always said that.
Always?
Yeah. As soon as he grew the beard, I said it's a Pinkman.
Take a look. Come on. That's season 5 Jesse Pinkman, along with season 2 Matt Davidson.
Season 1 and a touch.
Matt does not have the license plate Captain Cook. That is strike 3, and 1 down for Ryan Schimpf. I should say for Sanchez. I should flip over my scorebook, shouldn't I?
It's not that important.
It's not. I get excited about Breaking Bad.
That's
1 down for Sanchez.
Shows.
It is. You haven't watched, and I think you should change that.
I promised I would pick it up on season 10. What season are they in?
They're done at 5.
There you go.
So thanks for playing. And here's strike 1 to Sanchez. So the Sox have come back in this game from down 3-0. Got a 2-run homer from Leury Garcia in the third to make it a 1-run game once again. Padres got a leadoff home run from Matt Caesar. On the ground, past third, and a base hit for Sanchez.
Yolmer continues to swing it very well. This time going to the opposite field. Shooting it by Schimpf. He's well off the line. And the ball just barely eludes him. You don't need big speed to play third base. You do have to have a very quick first step and good hand-eye coordination, because when you take the dive, you'd love it to stick in the glove. That time he just couldn't get to it. That ball was hit a little harder than he would have liked.
Omar takes ball number 1. This looks like it's going to be a game that's turned over to the bullpens. San Diego got walked off yesterday by the Texas Rangers. Sox had a busy bullpen in the finale against the Twins yesterday. Sanchez was off, and it's fouled away by Narvaez. Ball and a strike.
Nice hit and run attempt. Omar does make contact, so he was able to protect Yolmer. One guy we will not see out of the bullpen tonight, most likely, is Brad Hand. He's a very talented left-hander out of the pen. He was a waiver claim by the Marlins. He's pitched 3 straight days. And Andy Green told me that he probably needs a night off.
Two and 1 to Omar, with Garcia next and Garcia to follow. Close play at first. Sanchez got back.
That was very close. They came an eyelash from getting him. He's going towards second. If this throw is on the runner, he's out, but it was not. It was to the left of the first base bag. Solarte had a long way to go with the tag and couldn't get there. Another hit and run, same result. If you have a succession of contracts that aren't the best, what happens is what's happened with San Diego. They actually owe more to former players than the entire roster is making this year. They owe $32 million. They're paying James Shields, Melvin Upton, Matt Kemp, and Hector Olivera $32 million. Not a great position to be in.
Not a whole lot of value there.
No, but when they do come off, there'll be a lot of flexibility for A.J. Preller.
3-2 on Narvaez. Sanchez at first, one out. And there's Leury Garcia, who singled in the third and scored on the home run by Leury Garcia. Runners off again, and Narvaez pops it up. Ship at third for out number 2. Celebrate your next special occasion or host clients in the newest suite at Guaranteed Rate Field. Suite 134 hosts up to 25 people and is conveniently located along the main concourse. Experience the game from this unique new perspective. For more info, visit whitesox.com/group or call 312-674-1000 today. An old school Padres jersey in the crowd. And ball one from Chacin, who has been not necessarily of the same heavy workload as Gonzalez, but has not seen a lot of the left lane tonight either.
He's gotten away with a lot of those sliders that hang over the inside part of the plate to the right-hand hitters. He does have very quick feet on that move to first base, but the Ulmer back in.
Another one to first, and some breakdancing from Solarte.
Well, it helped to be a middle infielder that time, because middle infielders would do this, diving to either side for ground balls and line drives. That time Solarte had to dive for a throw to the bag. That one almost got away and into right field.
Another one. Sanchez gets time. Solarte continues to tag him. Just a case.
You never know. Keep that glove on him. Yelmer has one stolen base, been caught twice. Chacin is paying a great deal of attention to him.
Check swing, and he did not go. 2-0 on Garcia. Off speed for a strike. 2-1 on Garcia, who now has a hit in 5 of his 6 appearances with the Sox, trying to put Nick Capra into a position to send somebody home.
So they're talking to David Rackley from the Sox dugout, and I think maybe what they're saying is you got to make him hesitate, because that would have been easy to call a balk on Chacin as he tried to quick pitch Garcia and did not have the second pause.
Time called by Hedges, who needs to make baseball once again a game of adjustments. Three and one. So now full count on Leury Garcia. Leury Garcia is next, and he's not made an out so far tonight. Sanchez will go with 2 out from first. Foul back.
Tried to heat him upstairs with a high fastball, able to foul it off, which usually means a slider is forthcoming. He's taken a little something off both of his sliders that he threw successfully for strikes to Willie.
Payoff pitch again. He got him with a breaking ball. Bookend strikeouts for Chacin. And we will go to the 5th. Padres still have the lead. CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday shop. The Great Escape. Dan Hayes not included with your hot tub. The food at this ballpark is tremendous. You always decline when they bring up food for us. And I appreciate it because it's more for me.
Well, there was a couple things that were brought up for you that looked really good. In fact, all the new additions to the menu here are terrific. The food here is just, it's wonderful throughout the ballpark, whatever you get. I like the creativity. You don't find a great deal of creativity in many ballparks, but you do here at Guaranteed Rate Field.
Well, the folks from the Beggar's Pizza Pub tonight have sent up these fried ravioli. And I'm actually shocked that you're not eating any because you have a tendency to enjoy fried ravioli.
I like it a lot. The difference is that I like a beef sausage combination as the stuffing.
In the air, right center field. Garcia back, still drifting, and he brings it in.
Looks like he hurt himself as he jammed his foot. you've got right around 10 feet as soon as the grass turns to the warning track. And as soon as you hit that spot, outfielders know exactly how many steps they have before they hit the wall. Willie went back. He's measuring the ball. He's got it all the way, but as he reaches up, he arrives a little more quickly than he would have liked and hurts his foot, but he'll stay in the game. Good catch, good concentration. And he came away with a little pain, but otherwise okay.
There's a chance right now that Avi is having Garcia's sympathy pains after Leury got hit by a pitch and Willie's run into the wall.
I know, he's next.
That was ominous. Schimpf in the air, left field. Melky in stride, waits for it for out number 2. Here's your Sox math answer for tonight. Jay Reeses is your victor. Sox hit 2 homers last night. Joey Cora played for 2 other teams, including the Mariners. 4 NL West teams for John Garland. He made it basically all the way around the division in 3 games of the series. 5 is your answer. Jay Reeses. Congratulations. You may have fried ravioli sent to you via the postal service.
It would arrive a touch soggy. Other than that, I can see no disadvantages to that.
Question is, would we include the marinara with the package?
Then it would be soggier. Looks really good, though. I will say that.
You can have one. You're welcome to it.
Oh, thanks. But I'd like to spend the rest of the broadcast here in the booth.
And we'd like that as well, Steve.
Thank you.
Hedges is the guy to give San Diego the current lead at 3-2. His 2-run double in the 3rd inning might be added to this, and it is.
Shows you just how strong he is. That's his 8th. He's now driven in 20. This is a guy that came in hitting 184, but good power numbers, and he's added 3 runs driven in to his total, and 1 tacked on to his home run total. That one in the bullpen. Ford home run replay. This looked a bit like his cutter that didn't cut. And Hedges gets most of it, not all of it.
To the bullpen it goes now. Ibar, as San Diego has doubled its lead. To right field and a base hit for Ibar. San Diego has half of its runs tonight on home runs. A couple of solo shots now, Caesar and Hedges. And the Padres get a lot of use out of home runs. They're tops in the National League. More than half their runs scored from homers.
And right there with the Rangers and the Yankees as far as percentage of balls leaving the ballpark that scored the runs. Well, you're up about 52%. That's a big number. We thought Baltimore was good at that. Whereas Baltimore scores a whole lot of runs, not only hitting the ball out of the park, but hitting it all over the park.
Orioles, Yankees, Red Sox race will be very interesting throughout the course of the summer.
I'm going to make a prediction for you.
Yeah, what you got?
The American League East is going to be a general manager's division. Those teams right now, there's not a whole lot to separate one from the other. So one of those teams, possibly 2, are going to make definitive moves as we get down closer to the trade deadline. And when they do, it will sway the balance of power. So all of those guys, Paquette, Cashman, Dombrowski, looking around. They've sent their scouts out. They're taking a look at trade possibilities, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to need, but that will depend on who gets hurt on those 3 ball clubs between now and then, and who comes back from the guys who are currently hurt.
We've heard general managers say it. We didn't make a trade, but we're getting a couple guys back, and so that's like making a trade. But you're saying in that division, if you don't do anything, you're going to be behind, because somebody will.
Yeah, I was going to say both of those teams, all 3 of those teams are sitting there very similar to one another. But unless one does something over the other, for instance, Baltimore won't have Zach Britton. That's a huge loss for them. Brad Brock is a capable guy and has done a really good job with 3 career saves coming into this year. He's done a nice job in an emergency role. They're going to have to do without Britton for 2, maybe 3 months. It's a long time without a lockdown closer.
Then you get him back, and you don't know exactly where he's going to be.
Yeah, who knows? 47 for 47 last year. Oh, and Omar is down. That was right off the top of the left foot. And there is graphically illustrated why I took what they call the tools of ignorance off at a very young age and moved to the mound. I get tired of getting hit with foul balls. And at the point where you could run into the catcher, I was very small and did not like getting bowled over into the backstop.
How long were you a catcher?
4 years.
Really?
Yes.
What years were those?
I had 2 good games in 4 years. No, I was a little kid.
Oh. So they didn't have years back then?
No, I only had 2 good games in 4
I see.
years. Yeah, they had years. Just they were long ones.
In the air, foul ground. Abreu has no play. I didn't know if your sundial had years or.
That was before clocks. It was
before alarm clocks?
No. Funny you should mention that,
That's
though.
what we call a segue in the industry.
It is, because tomorrow night, be one of the first 20,000 fans in attendance, and you will get yourself a Hawk Harrelson alarm clock, which will give you a lot of catchphrases and, I guess, get you up in the morning like it's supposed to, like most alarm clocks will do.
You'll wake up to Hawk.
But it's Hanson.
That is outside and ball 4. Renfroe walks. 2 on, 2 out, and Cordoba is the batter. There's a look at the Hawk alarm clock. Enjoying the sun earlier today. That's why the sunglasses are on.
That's it, and Hawk will be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
He'll be joined by his family down on the field.
Don Cooper goes out. Wants a word with Miguel Gonzalez, who is about ready to deliver pitch number 90.
Big hits have been extra base hits. Hedges 3 driven in on a double and a home run. And the leadoff homer for Caesar.
One of the guys who doesn't have an extra base hit is a guy who last year did something that was absolutely amazing. Ryan Schimpf, 42 extra base hits. He only had 60 hits, 42 for extra bases. That's pretty amazing.
He's got an allergy to ground balls.
Jeez.
Cordoba serves it to left field. Ibar around third. San Diego with another 2-out hit.
Fifth run driven in by Cordoba. So Allen getting an opportunity to start, making the most of it. Catches it off the end of the bat, but dumps it into a good spot. No chance at all for Melky. And the Padre offense, which was having all kinds of problems this year, seemingly have found the cure here in Chicago.
And without talented young player Manuel Margot, who's not in the lineup tonight. Oh, Narvaez got handcuffed there.
I think he probably got crossed up. He wasn't expecting it as Inoa starts loosening in the pen.
Gonzalez has really battled it tonight, trying to get out of this inning and give it back to the offense after two pretty quick flyouts to start this inning. Then the homer, a single, a walk, and a single. And now Caesar with ball one. One ball, one strike on Caesar. Padres and Sox will play again tomorrow. That's a 6:10 first pitch. Trevor Cahill, Dylan Covey, and then Sunday, Jared Weaver, Jose Quintana, your matchup.
Maybe a little added incentive for Jared Weaver. We'll tell you why after this.
That's a tease, folks. That's called strike 1 and 2. He's heard from the owner, Jared Weaver.
He has. Ron Fowler, who is the executive chairman, who has in the past been a little critical of his players, generally after they've departed. However, he took this opportunity to tell Jared Weaver if he didn't pitch a real good game, well, he didn't know what was going to happen after that.
But it wouldn't be good.
He wouldn't be good, no. And Jared Weaver has been around a long time, good pitcher. He's going to go out there and pitch the ball game that he always has, regardless of what is being said. And he normally has thrown pretty well against our Sox.
2-2. He got him for strike 3. Gonzalez wipes away Caesar, but San Diego grabs 2 runs with 2 out, and it's a 5-2 ball game. As Garcia, Cabrera, and Abreu will bat here in the 5th inning. And don't forget, you can tweet in at us at Jason Benetti, at Steve Stone.
Yes.
Care to? And
we do like those.
I've gotten a couple tweets from your doctor, evidently.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Geez, he passed away, so those are long-distance tweets.
Barbara Kraft has tweeted in, about you're not eating the
Yes.
ravioli. Maybe Steve has dietary restrictions.
You know, she is prescient or prescient or both. Because of the many things I'm intolerant of, lactose is one of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about people?
Oh, like them a lot.
Good, because they don't have any medication for that. 2 balls and a strike on Garcia, who homered in the 3rd. I'll take that, and you decline. Garcia to left field. That's a base hit.
Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by AWS, and this was a line drive, but it pales in comparison to this. Low slider, gone. Exit velocity, a little over 100 miles an hour. Launch angle, 27.7. Leury didn't hit it a long way, but it did leave the ballpark fairly quickly, and it turned out to be a no-doubter.
He's been on base all 3 times now. Looked like he was thinking about running and didn't do it.
You got a pitcher on the mound who is fairly susceptible to left-handers, because with his dominant pitch, the slider, and the slider moving in to the left-handers, they usually get a pretty good swing. Here's going to be a fastball. He's probably going to try to sink it.
Remember, Garcia's playing because Tim Anderson is out. He's at a funeral of a friend of his who passed away last week. His childhood friend, Brandon Moss. So Tim has gone to Alabama for that. The Sox are going to be down a man. Didn't make a roster move for the weekend, and the reason again for that is Tim's not eligible for the bereavement list, which was instituted 10 years ago for serious family illnesses or a death in the family. This not being a family member, Tim's not eligible. And you say, well, that sounds kind of callous, that Major League Baseball wouldn't include that, but to have it extended farther and farther, the idea is you don't want anybody to take advantage of the list, and when clubs look for angles by which to maneuver, that might end up happening at some point. Three and one on Melky. Popped it up. Ibar out number 1.
Jose has not really been on a whole lot of pitches tonight, but I would assume that he probably has got the slider down pretty well right now. I look for a good at bat this time. He hit the ball fairly hard the first time up. It wasn't a rocket. Schimpf was right in front of it. This time I think it'll be a good at bat, and he's going to look at a slider in the first pitch.
He's hung some tonight. On the corner.
That was one of the better ones. That one broke sharply, broke late, and was in a perfect spot, low and away. This is one you just have to take, because on the first pitch, you swing at a pitcher's pitch, that's a ground ball to the left side, and it's going to be a double play.
Garcia back, as the Padres have paid quite a bit of attention to the Sox runners tonight.
Pitch number 82 on the way. I can understand why Chacin would do that, because he's not the quickest to home plate, so he has to compensate for that with a good move, and he's got one of those.
One ran low and in on Abreu, ball and a strike. Sox went down on batter number 1, pitch number 1, Matt Caesar, a home run to left, and the Padres got 2 more in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th. Sox only 2 runs on a Leury Garcia 2-run homer in the 3rd. Abreu goes down to get it to right field, and Renfroe is there. Have you ever wanted the chance to enjoy a picnic in the outfield of Guaranteed Rate Field?
Yes.
Thank you. Meet 2017. We're doing a bit here. 2017 White Sox team members and talk to White Sox alumni. Now's your chance. Join us Sunday, June 25th. Picnic in the park. All proceeds benefit White Sox charities. And to purchase tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org. I went last year. They have food out on the warning track. You can go sit and talk to Sox fans, have a catch, whatever it might be. It's a beautiful event.
And hopefully it'll be warm by then. Although don't take anything for granted.
Two down for Garcia. And another throw to first. Chassin, we believe, leads the league in throws to first tonight. Still tabulating.
But Leury does have very good speed. But when he was going over there as many times as he was for Yolmer, maybe he's trying to get his arm loose.
On the ground, hard hit enough to get through. Leury squeals the brakes around second base and is back. Sox will have the tying run coming up with Todd Frazier.
You're not going to want to take too many liberties with Hunter Renfroe. He's got a very strong arm, one of the strongest in baseball. As Avi takes this through the right side. You see Spangenberg playing up the middle has no chance in that. And Leury takes a break, thinks about it, and then goes back. Wise choice by Leury, with 2 outs especially.
He thought about it. Take it on.
But he didn't know he was going to bobble the ball. So
Frazier now. Big rip, 0-1. Todd's grounded out twice to the pull side, once to Ibar at short, once to Schimpf at third. Todd does have a home run against Chassin. That came in a Reds uniform, and it was on the first pitch of that at bat. So now 1 for 7 against Chassin all time. 2 Garcias on base, and there's strike 2. Sox have had 6 of the 39 Garcias ever to play Major League Baseball. It's tied for second most in terms of Garcias.
we have ample Garcias.
1-2. We'll have to wait. Chassin chooses Garcia number 2 to look at.
And if Andy Garcia decides on a change of venue, he's got a spot in the middle infield.
Ball and 2 strikes. Frazier reaches out and floats it foul. Runners were off.
Anthony Swarzak alongside Michael Inoa.
It was almost 3 years to the day that Frazier homered off of Chassin. A homer here would tie the game. That's a foul ball.
Nice job of staying alive on a real good slider, low and away, just off the outside corner.
Go there again.
It's his best pitch. I see no reason not to.
One, two, swing, down and out. He did, and he missed and didn't get a swing.
One thing catchers want to make sure they don't do is set up too early. Very few base runners are going to be able to read the signs if a catcher uses 3 or 4 different signs, but they are able to easily give location just with a nod of your head or a movement of your hand. And if a hitter knows the pitch is going to be outside, it doesn't take a whole lot of guesswork to go that way.
2-2. He got him. Nice breaking ball outside corner. Hitting over. Sox strand 2, still 5-2.
Our Chuck Garfien talks to the editor-in-chief of Deadspin and his fascination with the Chicago White Sox rebuild. Plus, Ryan McGuffey gives us a scoop from his minor league tour. Subscribe to the White Sox Talk podcast today. And we got a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Michael Inoa. He's been throwing it pretty well. In relief of Miguel Gonzalez, on for the 10th time. His ERA 270. There you look at the rest of the numbers. Combined opponents hitting 204. That's very good, as right-handers have done nothing with him.
You'll get the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for San Diego: Spangenberg, Myers, and Solarte, as this is now revolution number 4 through the Padres order tonight. San Diego had something happen about a week ago that you rarely ever see. Padres had a rainout.
That's amazing.
I was in San Diego in December for a college football bowl game. BYU and Wyoming. And we're doing the game. And it starts to just pour in San Diego, and you never expect that it's going to rain. It rains like, what, 20 days out of the year in San Diego?
It seems like it never rains in Southern California.
Our sideline reporter didn't bring any rain gear.
A big mistake.
He got demolished. He was as angry of a person as you will ever see. Paul Carcaterra. It was pretty funny from up in the booth, gotta say.
It always is. Not too funny if you're down on the field.
That one gets away, and Spangenberg peels off and is out.
A good break as this one goes up the first base line. Omar with a sprint to his right. Does a nice job of locating the baseball quickly and gets it there in plenty of time. So Miguel Gonzalez goes 5, gives up 5 on 8 hits with 4 walks and 2 strikeouts. Was not a good night for him once again. Some command issues.
Myers to center field. And there is out number 2. Here's your sticks and stone question.
As long as it's not Larry Stahl.
Okay. It's not. Which position player had the most strikeouts in Steve Stone's first victory versus the Padres?
Well, it's either Nate Colbert or Ollie Brown, and seeing as the first man I ever struck out was Nate Colbert, who in the batter's box looked a whole lot. There were 4 hitters in a row. Nate Colbert, Cito Gaston, Ivan Morel, and Ollie Brown. They all looked very similar. But my first strikeout was Nate Colbert, so I will say Nate Colbert.
How'd you get him? That first strikeout. You remember it?
Carefully. I would have, if I had to guess right now, because I have zero memory of the pitch, I would say it was a curveball, seeing as I had a hard time throwing fastballs by people.
Not early in your career.
True, but that was the first game. I was a touch nervous. It was in San Diego and didn't rain.
You were that nervous?
Pretty nervous.
You remember the day?
No, it was a night game.
Do you remember the day before the night game?
No. Oh, the day of the game?
Yeah, what the day was.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I do remember a base hit and a home run, the first 2 hitters.
I'm going to try and get you to talk about that first strikeout. Another 3 questions, and we come back. 5-2, the stunning conclusion to Sticks and Stone after this.
For the Miller Lite game report, and Matt Caesar said he's glad to be back in Chicago after being traded to the Padres on Monday. He said the move came as a surprise since the Cubs already had 8 pitchers in the bullpen. Nevertheless, he's looking forward to the opportunity in San Diego and getting more playing time. As for the trade goes, he says the hardest part was leaving his teammates behind and all the guys he grew up in the Cubs system with. He spent 5 years as Anthony Rizzo's locker mate, but nevertheless, even though he's on a different team, he says they're always going to be family. Jason, Steve, let's go back up to you in the booth.
What a nice conclusion, though. There's always a moral at the end of our Miller Lite game report.
I think everybody that comes up with one organization believes they're going to spend his entire career with that organization. But reality dictates that you're going to move around. And the longer you are in this game, you realize every time you go someplace else, there is an opportunity. And for Matt Caesar, a better opportunity here than he would have gotten with the Cubs.
Traded for Double-A pitcher Justin Hancock, who was with the San Antonio Missions of the Padres organization.
Padres can make certainly good use of him. He's a good player, and he had some wonderful moments with the Cubs. But this is his opportunity to get some playing time. And when you're still young enough to take advantage of it, sometimes it's for the best, although it doesn't feel like it at the time.
There's strike 3 for Davidson. Sanchez coming up. And here's your answer to Sticks and Stone. Your selection, I believe, was A.
No, B.
You sure?
Yes.
It was B.
I know. Because that's the only thing I remember was the first strikeout as well as the first 2 hitters, Dave Campbell and Larry Stahl.
You threw a complete game. 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, June 20th, 1971.
But that was not my first game. My first major league start.
No, your first game against the Padres.
My first major league start was against the Padres in San Diego.
Oh, first win. I misread the question.
You see? You were
Well, you did
laboring
too.
under a misconception.
You did 2. 2 out.
The Padre pen is up and going. Torres and Yates. They have them both listed as right-handers, but quite obviously one of them is left-handed.
You know what I love about you is I said that your guess was A, and you got ultra competitive very quickly and said no, it was B.
Oh, it was.
I like your level of competition. It just jumps out at you a little bit. It's a game that you're not being graded on, but you want to win real bad.
Well, you know, I do have 33% chance.
That's true.
And because I answered the question that was not asked, it's even more remarkable because Nate Colbert was my first major league strikeout in the first game I pitched.
You're like the Karnak of Sticks and Stone.
Oh no, I've gotten way too many wrong.
You just have an envelope at your head just for fun?
Yes.
Bring it, Steve.
Okay. What do you do? Oh no, that was the answer to the question, Karnak. The answer is El Paso. The question? What you do if you can't El Runo or El Punto?
Anyone younger than the age of, say, 28 is scrambling for YouTube right now, and should, because that was one of the great bits.
Oh.
It was very fun by Johnny Carson.
He was a master.
Ed McMahon will be the topic of conversation in the 7th inning. 5-2, we're having fun.
Organization with 2.5-hour specials. Well, 2 half-hour specials. Go behind the scenes with Yohan Moncada, Michael Kopech, Zach Birdie, and more as they prepare for the big stage. CSN presents White Sox Cornerstones presented by Ozinga. Premiering Monday, May 22nd at 7 p.m.
That will be a wonderful special. Ryan McGuffey's going to come on Sunday and tell us some more about his trip down to the minor leagues. Got to ride the bus with some of the guys. And we've put the mental in fundamentals tonight, I guess, is what the camera folks are telling us.
I guess we have.
Michael Ynoa, ball one to Ryan Schimpf. Padres scored 1 in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the fifth. Sox with 2 in the third, and that's all for the runs so far tonight. Did you see the news out of Kansas City about Seth Maness, the former Cardinals pitcher who had the Tommy John surgery that's not really Tommy John surgery? Tommy John is basically a reconstruction of the ligament. This is a repair surgery, and he's come back, Steve, in 7.5 months.
That can pretty much, well, that pretty much cut the normal time in half. So because they're always refining surgical procedures, perhaps this will be the wave of the future, and it'll be called the Seth Maness surgery and not Tommy John.
It's interesting with so many pitchers having the procedure done, a lot of the discussion has been how do you keep that from happening, and now this Midwestern based surgeon has started to say, well, if we're going to have to do the surgery, how can we make it better? Seth Maness was one of the better relief pitchers in the majors. He led the league, I believe, in inherited runners stranded a couple years ago.
He had a good changeup and very good sink.
A lot of baseball folks are going to be watching his comeback as down goes Schimpf for out number 1 in the top of the 7th.
Ynoa pitched him well. Most of the pitches were up. You keep it there above the belt, just below the letters, and that uppercut swing is going to get you a lot of those.
You said it in his first at bat.
Yep, just keep it up there and he will trouble you not. But with 42 extra base hits last year out of his 60 hits, he can put a charge into the ball.
Not even 100 games.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing year.
It's called a strike, 1-1 on Hedges, who has been the real evil tonight for the Sox. He's driven in 3. You like the new Padres look? We saw the old school Padres brown and yellow, the Merv Griffin set jerseys.
That was the color scheme that I played against. There you see, that's a little bit later on. But yeah, I like the road unis. I think they look good.
You missed the Friar?
Well, the Friar is actually their television broadcaster, Mark Grant. I don't know if you know that, but he looked exactly like the Friar.
He posed.
Minus the gigantic shoes. He is a very funny man. Been a long-time broadcaster with the Padres. Mark Grant is terrific. He's from Joliet. And a lot of people don't realize that when he first came to the Giants organization in their minor leagues, he set it afire. He had a huge fastball, great stuff. Made it to the major leagues, didn't accomplish quite what he wanted to, but he's become a great broadcaster and does a terrific job.
Paired with Don Orsillo over in the TV booth, longtime great announcer in the majors. Leury Garcia talks this for out number 2. As we tell you about our White Sox farm report today, and it is Zach Collins from lovely Winston-Salem, North Carolina, up onto the bridge for a home run. He's 7 for his last 21.
That's got some big power. And you love the on-base percentage. And one thing that we heard, which is certainly borne out in the early stages of his career, was he had a very strong grasp of the strike zone. Very rarely would swing at pitches out of the zone. And it's rare in a power hitter, and he does have some big power.
His Dash lost tonight 8-5 to the Carolina Mudcats, not named for Mark Grant. Collins 1 for 5 with an RBI tonight. Fireworks after the game tonight, fireworks tomorrow after the game, then a 1:10 start time on Sunday. Sox and Padres. Down the line again and foul from Ibar.
Although it's rolled around rather quickly, it's time to hit the road once again, and it'll be a 10-gamer. 3 in Anaheim with the Angels, 4 in Seattle with the Mariners, followed by 3 against the Diamondbacks in Phoenix.
Strike 3, and Ibar is disinterested in the ruse. Getting over, Sox need a couple of runs.
Fun home.
Got a little mustard on the H. When was your first selfie, Steve?
I'm waiting until they figure out the technology before I delve into that.
What's there to figure out?
I guess arm length.
Have you not heard of a selfie stick?
No.
They have these giant wands that you put the phone on, and then you hold the phone in front of you.
Yes.
And take the picture, and it puts you in perfect picture range. We're gonna get you a selfie stick.
Sounds like a good plan, and then I can beat you with the stick after that.
Why does it always turn violent when we're trying to innovate?
Well, because this game is moving right along.
It's uncomfortable. Tap to the left side, and Eric Ibar. Low throw for out number 1. Join us as the Sox take on the Tigers Saturday, May 27th, 1:10 p.m. First 20,000 fans get a White Sox photo book, maybe with selfies, presented by CSN. Take a look back at the Sox in the 90s with images featuring all-time greats like Frank Thomas, Tim Raines, Bo Jackson, and more. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling Sox game. Last night, we asked for random 90s Sox players that you'd like to have on the photo book. And we had some nice suggestions. Jason Beret, Ron Karkovice, Warren Newsom, the Deacon.
I saw Michael Jordan up there. Old number 45.
That's what you remember him as?
Oh, yeah.
Leury Garcia gives another one a ride. Renfroe is back, and he has no play. He's done it twice.
Three of them driven in. 11 for the year and his 4th home run as Leury goes deep. And that's going to be the last pitch that Chacin is going to throw. Our Ford home run replay. This is low, out over the plate, and gone. A towering shot to right center field. I'm just guessing. Looks like a little higher than 27 degrees launch angle. Chacin is ready for a launch angle.
His exit
launching him from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very high right now. First multi-homer game for Garcia. Chacin is departing. The Sox trying to build a rally. And some outs to play with. 8 of them remaining in regulation. 5-3 your score. TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Hyundai call to the pen is Jose Torres. Left-hander, originally with the Oakland organization, came over in a trade. There you look at the numbers. On for the 17th time. He's been a durable guy.
He's given up no runs in 6 of his last 7 outings. And he makes Melky dance with ball 1.
He came over in a pretty good deal. Drew Pomerantz coming over with him, and Jabari Blash filling out that deal for Yonder Alonso and Mark Zipchinski back in December 2015.
Boy, Mark Zipchinski has had an awesome season so far. His numbers are fantastic.
He's always been a quality left-hander, a situational left-hander, and he'll continue to find work because he gets the ball over. And he's got pretty good stuff.
Giving up 2 hits in 9 1/3 so far this year with the Mariners.
Another local product in the Chicagoland area.
Torres on 1 and 2. Got inside just enough on Melky, and Schimpf squeezes out number 2. Sox are back on the board though, thanks to Leury Garcia, and here are the numbers on it. It's a high home run.
A little bit better exit velocity. This one quite a bit higher, and another trip to the mound by Andy Green. A short stint by Jose Torres, who got the man he was supposed to get. And as he walks out, we'll step out. Be back after these messages. Sunday call to the pen is Kirby Yates. Combined between the Angels and San Diego, he's on for the 7th time. His ERA .257. He only had 1 appearance with the Angels before coming over here to the Padres, and he's been throwing it pretty well. 9 strikeouts in 7 innings. 2 outs here in the 7th in what has become a 2-run game.
This is not the climate that Kirby Yates is used to. He was born in Hawaii, went to Kauai High School, then to college in Arizona.
Yavapai.
Yeah, now he plays in San Diego.
Yavapai's got a good program.
Yeah. Tough life climate-wise for Kirby Yates. You never played in Hawaii, did you? No AAA team there when you were playing.
I did.
AAA. You did?
Yeah, there was. It was the Angels AAA team. Went there 3 times to play them and 1 time to play a Japanese Major League team in an exhibition when I was with the Giants.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the air, right side. Solarte White flags it, and Spangenberg is over for out number 3. So Andy Green pushes the right buttons, it seems. Sox get a run thanks to Leury Garcia.
At eclicklending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Your mortgage just happened.
Even on the mound, you didn't have the same sense of control as you do when you're in charge of the boom.
No, I love that. That's just terrific. Chris Beck comes in the ball game on for the 6th time. The ERA at 4.82. There you look at the rest of the numbers, and he's got a 2-run deficit that he would love to preserve and turn it over to the offense.
He has big shoes to fill. Michael Ynoa threw very well tonight.
Michael Ynoa's thrown very well all year, and he made a couple of adjustments, and it's really worked well for him. Last year at times had trouble getting the ball over the plate. This year, not much trouble. 2 innings, 3 strikeouts. That is a very handsome pizza hat, and no, I don't want that because I am still lactose intolerant.
I have to say, I don't know that it's actually made of real pizza.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not.
There you go.
Can't be sure. Here's Hunter Renfroe. He skies this back of home. And foul. Hunter Renfroe, who played at Mississippi State in Starkville, where they have something called the Left Field Lounge in lovely Starkville, Mississippi. The lounge is a place where you can bring your own rig, right? You can back your truck up, bring your own chairs. You kind of scout out the seats, and they grill, and they cook, and they have beverages, and they do it all game long. Sometimes you can't even see the ball in left field because there's so much smoke coming from grills in Starkville, where they're baseball crazy.
They've had some wonderful players come out of Mississippi State. Rafael Palmeiro being one of them.
Will Clark.
Will Clark another. Both pretty good hitters. Jeff Brantley, another, a pitcher who was a position player, became a pitcher.
Now skippered by Andy Cannizzaro, the former big league player. What do you like on your pizza head, Steve?
Just what she has, pepperoni. Very nice.
Pepperoni and celery, I think, with onions.
Yeah, not so nice. Being a meatitarian and all.
Please send all lettuce to Steve Stone, care of Guaranteed Rate Field.
Renfroe's had some pretty good swings, and I just missed a home run and still was able to reach base on there.
Had a ball that was originally called a home run, then deemed foul later. That is a dart. That's another reason to wear a pizza head to the ball game. Keep yourself safe. Always have to be alert behind those dugouts. That is strike 3 from Beck to Renfroe.
He took a fastball just above the knees on the outer third of the plate. Good location, good pitch.
Well, we've talked about it. When Chris Beck is throwing strikes, and Rick Renteria said it as well, when he's throwing strikes, that's when he can be terribly effective.
2 appearances ago, he threw it real well. Last time out, little command issue, but the stuff is certainly good enough.
By the way, Minnesota won tonight 1-0 over Cleveland, so the Twins are in first place all alone in the American League Central at 18-14.
Well, I think you're taking a look at a team that has seen a maturation of Miguel Sano. He was a monster in the minor leagues. He certainly is turning into one in the major leagues. and that is one scary guy. Along with Kenneth Vargas, they make quite a twosome in the middle against the right-hand pitchers. Vargas usually sits against the lefties, but Sano is in there every day. Not to mention Dozier, who had a huge year last year and looked pretty good coming back from the ankle injury in the one game he played here.
Again, there was really no major shock to their offensive system. It's a lot of the same guys as we've seen over the past season, 2 years for Minnesota. That's a strike.
Well, they added Castro. That's an upgrade offensively over Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki was a pretty good player. Castro can give him a little bit more, I believe.
So we'd seen 0 Pizza Hats coming into the night. Now we've seen 2.
It's just the tip of the iceberg. Many more where that came from.
Pizza might melt the iceberg if it came directly out of the oven. Cordoba fights it away. Still 2-2.
Good fastball in on his hands, because there's absolutely nothing he can do with that except just barely stay alive. Get a big hit in the 5th inning. RBI single. 2 outs, nobody on in that inning. And they scored 2 huge runs, and that's the difference in this game.
There's a home run from Hedges, then single from Ibar, walk from Renfroe, and the RBI single from Cordoba you're talking about. 2-2. Flared to left. 3rd hit for Cordoba.
He broke the bat, but got enough into it to dump it in front of Melky.
So that accounts for 1/4 of the hits for Cordoba so far this season.
Well, we'll see Margot tomorrow. He's just taking a day off. One of their more talented players. He certainly can run, can cover a lot of ground in center field, and he started out hitting the ball pretty well.
Down low, and Matt Caesar was the guy who started this game with a bang for San Diego. Sox have gone down early now, the last 2 games, down 4-0 after 1 last night, 1-0 after 1 tonight. Twins added on to make it 6-0 in the 2nd yesterday. Padres put 2 up in the 3rd to make it 3-0 after 2.5.
We'll take you back to the leadoff hitter in the ball game, a first ball fastball, and Matt Caesar got every bit of it. Equally as impressive to his manager was that perfect sacrifice bunt he accomplished in the 4th inning.
Padres did not eventually score in the inning, but it was skillfully done anyway.
Good execution, and it lets his manager Andy Green know what he can do.
There's a difference between an effective bunt, long run, a good bunt decision, and a good bunt.
And what's important when a guy comes to a ball club, he's got to show Andy Green what he can do, and more important than that, Andy Green has to figure out what he can't do, and then don't ask him to do it. That's how you maximize your player.
Could be 2. Garcia, Sanchez, Abreu, inning over. Double play the fans wanted, they get. Bottom 8 next.
new pitcher coming in the ball game. It is Ryan Buchter. On for the 16th time. He's had a pretty good run out of the bullpen. The ERA an even 3. 17 strikeouts in 15 innings. Giving up only 11 hits. Equally divided, left-handers, right-handers, doesn't matter. They're both hitting 200 against him. He has allowed 4 home runs, which is a very high total for such a low earned run average.
Last season, he was as unhittable as it got out of the Padre bullpen. 63 innings, 34 hits.
Originally drafted by the Nationals and came to the Padres as a minor league free agent a couple of years ago.
Made a quick debut with Atlanta in 2014 for 1 game and 1 inning. The bulk of his major league time in Padres threads as he hooks Avi for strike 1. Sox have all 3 runs off homers. Leury Garcia with both of the homers tonight. The shortstop, Ibar. The Xfinity Fundamentals deck overlooks left field and is accessible from all levels of guaranteed rate field. Space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and skill instruction from Chicago White Sox Training Academy coaches. While there, check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform. X1 by Xfinity. It will change the way you experience TV. Three lefties in the bullpen for San Diego. We have seen 2 of them as Frazier wraps it foul. The Sox have actually, as a team, been significantly better against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching this year, which you might expect.
Yeah, you can understand that with the big power guys all from the right side.
Two groundouts and a strikeout for Frazier. Trying to amend a 2 for 20 stretch right now. Seven hits tonight for the Sox. 3 for Leury Garcia, 2 for Avi Garcia, 1 for Willie Garcia. The Garcias have 6. Sanchez has 1. Broken bat in the air, second base. Spangenberg.
That one got deep in Todd's kitchen. Shattered the bat. With the biggest part of it going right at shortstop and the baseball going right at second base. That explodes, left with a cricket bat.
Did you see the cricket announcer, by the way, who has thieved Hawks catchphrase?
Yes, adopted Hawks home run call.
There is a cricket announcer in India who, when a ball is, I believe it's called a home run in cricket, says you can put it on the board. Yes.
There you go.
He, however, does not have his own alarm clock.
Maybe he's going to work his way to India.
If that guy gets his own alarm clock, I think then the lawyers get involved. Hawk alarm clock night is tomorrow night. First 20,000 fans in the ballpark get one. It's inside, ball and 2 strikes on Davidson.
Matt has had a night of no contact. A couple of strikeouts. He walked the first time up.
Foul territory, Solarte. Reaching into the crowd, making friends. Solarte
He's out.
is
He's
holding the ball. My goodness. Wow.
What a catch.
Unreal.
Goes over to the rail and falls into the crowd and hangs on.
New meaning.
It wasn't announced, but it is cap night. Solarte there. He's got the ball and he's got the cap in his glove. Take a look at this play. There's a cap and the ball. They both stay right where they are. Larry Vanover comes over to get a better look, and he says it is indeed a catch.
I love the guy's reaction, by the way. When Solarte comes down with the hat, the guy immediately reaches into the glove to take the hat out, as though Solarte would be allowed to leave with the guy's hat.
But because it's never happened and you never know, he's covering all of his bases. He can live without the baseball, but not the cap.
I mean, he goes right into his glove and tries to pry out the hat.
That's exactly right.
Give me that.
That's a good cap. You can keep the ball. Let me have the hat.
Solarte isn't exactly in the power position there, being seated on the ground in row one.
All he wants to do is secure the baseball to get the out and get out of the inning.
You know, I think we actually progressed past job number one is secure the baseball.
And his friends are telling him that you were on the air, you still have your cap, which is kind of nice, and get out of the way next time.
I think Solarte just wanted to make sure he got out with his glove. I thought he was.
Was a whale of a play right there.
1-2 is up and out from Beck. That's how important cell phones are, by the way. In today's society, the guy went into Solarte's glove with his cell phone in hand for his hat. Smoke foul. Sox in the bottom of the ninth will have the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, Sanchez, Narvaez, and Garcia, coming up. 2-2. If Beck were to get the Sox through this ninth inning, it would be a nice job again by the bullpen to eat up some innings with Gonzalez going 5. In terms of bullpen usage, Padres may go back there as well.
It's Brandon Maurer, who got torched in the ball game yesterday. He gave up 4, and that was enough to do in the Padres late.
Mike Napoli, the game winner for Texas. But on the Sox bullpen, they come in with nearly 10 strikeouts per 9, a 2.29 ERA, second best in Major League Baseball. And one of the things Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper have done successfully is not get the bullpen to a circumstance where they're really overtaxed.
No, there's enough guys doing good enough jobs out there where you can spread the work around and be pretty confident that each and every guy you're bringing in the game is going to get the job done.
Garcia from shortstop. Frazier's over as well, and Garcia snaps up out number 1.
Let's take a look at our upcoming schedule presented by Travel Wisconsin, who reminds you to have some fun. Plan your trip today at travelwisconsin.com. It's the Padres for 2 more, and then the end of the homestand. As brief as it was, it's on to Anaheim for 3 with the Angels before the trip to Seattle and finishing out with Arizona. Our upcoming schedule.
You got your bag packed already?
It never truly was unpacked.
Will Myers, long fly ball left center field, and San Diego expands the lead.
Ninth home run of the year, first hit of the night, 24th driven in. Will Myers, their star in the middle, gives them an insurance run late. Ford home run replay. That was a hanging slider. It stayed up. Myers hit it out, and that's going to be it for Chris Beck. So as Chris walks out, so will we. Sox as they wrap up the series with the Padres on CSN. Coverage begins at 12:30 on Sunday with White Sox pregame live, or stream the game on the NBC Sports app or on csnchicago.com. David Holmberg comes in the ball game.
Trying to pick up the final couple outs here. He'll face Solarte first. And it's ball one.
There is our Hyundai call to the pen. On for the third time since his recall. The ERA 3.38 in 2 2/3 innings.
To third, Frazier gives ground and gets the out. Well, we showed you earlier that the Padres get a great deal of their runs from the home run. More than half of the runs scored this year by San Diego have come from baseballs which have left the ballpark. And they have 3 solo shots tonight. Two down for Schimpf. And there's ball one in David Holmberg's former home tonight, or with his former team at least. They're on the road, but Charlotte has beaten Louisville 5-2. And look at this, Yohan Moncada has another 2 hits. 2 for 4, a run, a double, and a walk and a strikeout.
He continues to tear it up. At last count, he had 9 stolen bases, a rare combination of pretty good power from both sides of the plate and tremendous speed.
He stole on a pitch out last night.
He's got legitimate, if not Billy Hamilton, at least in the neighborhood, and he's about twice the size. You're talking about a guy a little over 6'1", 215, who can run like the wind and hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's a guy you might want on your major league team.
You imagine at some point we'll see him.
Yeah, it's not going to be for a bit. I'm not rushing him up here because the Sox won't rush him up here. He's still got some things to work on.
That's strike 3 from Holmberg to send the Padres aside. Sox need 3 to tie, 4 to win.
About our Miller moment, just like we promised you earlier in the game. And it's Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite. It's really the Miller moments because Leury, for the first time in his career, had 2 home runs in 1 ball game. This is the second of the 2. And Leury has had quite a night. All 3 runs driven in by Leury as we take a look at their closer, Brandon Maurer, on for the 15th time. He gave up 4 runs last night. Other than that, he's thrown the ball pretty well. 19 strikeouts in 13 2/3, and he's got to go through the heart of the order. First, he's got to go through the bottom part of the order.
Hope he has to go through all the order.
The whole order.
Sanchez, strike 1.
Mauer's been a hard-throwing guy for some time. Acquired from Seattle. Seth Smith going the other way.
Quick worker, Mauer. Up the middle, base hit.
Second hit of the night for Yolmer. Good way to start the ninth as he takes it right back up the middle. It's a curveball that doesn't do a whole lot. It's kind of sitting there, and Yolmer takes advantage of it.
See if the Sox can get Mauer to give up the farm again after the Rangers got to him at the end of that Texas series. That's a strike. Two outs in the air for Omar tonight. Strikeout as well. That came in the sixth. He's 0 for 3. Yolmer runs. That's fortunately on the ground. And out number 1.
Good pick by Schimpf. And because Yolmer was running, it's not a double play. Takes a look at second, but there's no play there.
So Garcia will come out. Cody Ashe will bat. Sox have the tying run on deck with Leury Garcia, who's gone deep twice tonight. San Diego has led since pitch number 1 this evening, and Ashe has strike 1.
That was a high changeup. Normally it doesn't get you a whole lot, but it was not location but velocity that fooled Ashe.
That was Mauer's first blown save last night, his first since September of last year at Colorado. And that base hit for Sanchez is just the second hit he's allowed to the first batter he's faced in now 15 appearances.
A really good characteristic to have if you're a closer. This has been an at-bat filled with straight changes.
Two and 2. Ashe takes strike 3.
After 3 straight changes, he dots the I on the outside corner. And down to the last man, potentially. Or get on base, have a big night, Leury, and leave it up to Melky.
4 times on base, hit by a pitch, 2 homers and a single. That's 97. On the ground, should do it. Spangenberg has the final out. So San Diego took the lead very early on tonight and gets the win by the count of 6-3.
A lot of Leury, and unfortunately not much after that. So first game goes to the Padres, and we'll be right back at it tomorrow on Hawk Harrelson Alarm Clock Night.
Look forward to it. First pitch 6:10 p.m. tomorrow night. So for our director Jim Angio, producer Ian Dolachahi, our associate producer Dave Ross, Tech manager Mark Harper, and the executive producer Jim Corno Jr. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. So long from Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Coming up next, Subaru postgame live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on CSN. Good night.